My husband had promised me a big surprise for our 55th Christmas together, but he passed away 2 months before. On Christmas morning, while I was at church, a stranger approached me and handed me a diary. The first page read, "Did you think I wouldn't keep my promise? Follow the instructions on the next pages, and do not tell our children. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment where you're watching from." I adjust the collar of my navy wool coat before stepping into the cathedral, my fingers trembling slightly, not from the December cold, but from the weight of absence. Christmas morning services have always been my refuge, the one place where I can sit with my grief without anyone trying to fix it, fill it, or explain it away. The pew feels harder than I remember. Everything does now. 2 months after Austin died. 55 Christmases we'd shared. He'd promised me just weeks before the diagnosis grew teeth and claws that this one would be different, special. The kind of surprise that changes everything, Callie, he'd said, his painter's hands, those beautiful paint-stained hands, cupping my face. You'll see. But I won't see. I'll never see anything from him again except the empty chair at our kitchen table and the unfinished canvas in his studio, a half-rendered landscape of the Hudson Valley that will remain forever incomplete. The organ swells. I close my eyes and let the music wash over me, trying to find some fragment of peace in the familiar hymn. Around me, families cluster together, children squirming, mothers shushing, fathers checking phones. Complete units. Whole things. I am a half now. A widow. The word still tastes foreign on my tongue. The service blurs past in a watercolor haze of candlelight and liturgy. I stand when others stand, sit when they sit. Mouth words I've known since childhood but can't quite hear through the static of my own thoughts. When it ends, I remain seated, letting the crowd file past me toward their intact lives, their complete families, their warm homes where everyone they love is still breathing. "Mrs. Fletcher?" I look up. A young man stands in the aisle, perhaps 30, wearing a charcoal gray suit that looks slightly too large for his thin frame. His face is unfamiliar, but his eyes are kind. The sort of kindness that looks practiced, professional. "Yes, I have something for you." He extends a leather-bound journal, the kind Austin used to sketch in, worn soft at the edges. "I was instructed to deliver this to you here this morning." My hands don't move from my lap. "I think you have the wrong person. You're Callie Fletcher, wife of Austin Fletcher, the artist? I'm his widow." The word comes easier this time, sharp and clean as a blade. "Yes, ma'am. I'm very sorry for your loss." He holds the journal closer. Mr. Fletcher arranged for this delivery several months ago. He was quite specific about the time and place. Something catches in my throat. I take the journal with both hands, feeling its weight, its warmth, as if Austin's hands had just been holding it. The leather is burgundy, my favorite color, soft as butter. "How?" I begin. But when I look up, the young man is already walking away, his footsteps echoing against stone. I should follow him, ask questions, demand explanations. Instead, I open the journal with shaking hands. Austin's handwriting fills the first page, that familiar, confident script, slightly backslanted, the G's with their exaggerated loops. My vision blurs immediately, but I blink hard, refusing to let tears obscure his words. "Did you think I wouldn't keep my promise?" My breath stops. "Follow the instructions on the next pages, and don't tell our children. Don't tell our children." The words sit strangely, an odd weight to them. Why wouldn't I tell Brandon and Lauren? Why would Austin, who adored our children, want me to keep secrets from them? I turn the page, but the next entry is dated tomorrow, December 26th. The page for today, Christmas, is the only one I'm meant to read. The cathedral has emptied almost entirely. A few elderly parishioners linger near the doors, and somewhere in the back, someone is quietly cleaning up the flower arrangements. I sit alone in my pew, clutching this impossible gift, this voice from beyond death. My phone buzzes in my purse. Probably Lauren, wondering when I'll arrive for Christmas dinner at her place in Greenwich. The thought exhausts me. The forced cheer, the careful navigation around anything that might mention Austin, the way Brandon and his wife Ariana will exchange loaded glances whenever I speak. as if monitoring me for signs of instability. And Lauren's husband, Anthony. God, Anthony. The way he's been hovering since Austin died, asking pointed questions about the house, about Austin's studio, about whether I've thought about downsizing. As if my grief were simply a practical problem to be solved through real estate. I should go. I promised I'd be there by noon. Instead, I flip forward through the journal, not reading, just needing to see that Austin's words continue, that there's more, that he's left me more than just this one page. The entries go on for weeks, each one dated, each one waiting to be read in sequence like some kind of emotional advent calendar. My phone buzzes again, then again. I turn it off. Outside, snow has begun to fall. Those first tentative flakes that could mean nothing or everything. Through the cathedral's stained glass windows, the light fractures into jewel tones. Ruby, sapphire, amber. Austin would have loved this light. He would have made me sit here while he sketched it, capturing the way it transformed the ordinary wooden pews into something sacred. "Are you all right, dear?" An elderly woman, older than me, which is saying something at 75, stands at the end of my pew. Her face is kind, creased with the sort of wrinkles that come from smiling. "Yes," I hear myself say. My husband left me a message." She nods as if this makes perfect sense. "From the other side?" "Something like that." "Then you'd better listen to it." She pats my hand with her papery fingers. "The ones we love don't reach back across that divide for small things." She moves away, her footsteps slow and careful on the old stone floor. I watch her go, this stranger who somehow understood exactly what I couldn't articulate. I look down at the journal again, at Austin's handwriting, at that strange instruction, "Don't tell our children." My phone, though silenced, is surely filling with messages. Lauren will be worried. Brandon will be irritated. Ariana will make some passive-aggressive comment about respecting people's time. Anthony will do that thing he does. That concerned head tilt. That, "Are you sure you're okay, Mom?" That sounds caring but feels like assessment. I could go. I should go. Instead, I slip the journal into my purse, button my coat, and walk out into the snow. The Upper West Side is quiet on Christmas morning, that peculiar hush that falls over Manhattan when even New York takes a breath. I walk without direction, my boots leaving prints in the fresh snow, the journal in my purse feeling heavier than its physical weight. At the corner of 72nd and Amsterdam, I stop. To the left is the subway that will take me to Grand Central, then Metro North to Greenwich, then a taxi to Lauren's perfect colonial where my perfect children and their perfect spouses will serve perfect Christmas dinner, while avoiding every difficult truth in our family's history. To the right is Central Park, white and vast and empty. Austin proposed to me in Central Park, 57 years ago, a boy of 23 and a girl, both of us art students with paint under our fingernails and dreams bigger than our talent could yet contain. We'd stood near Bethesda Fountain, and he'd pulled a ring from his pocket, no box, just the ring wrapped in a piece of newsprint, and said, "Marry me, Callie. Marry me, and let's make something beautiful together." We did make something beautiful, 2 children, a lifetime of art, a marriage that survived poverty and success, health and sickness, youth and age. And now this journal, these instructions, this mystery he's left for me like a treasure map. I turn right toward the park. The journal says not to tell our children, so I won't. Not yet. Maybe not ever, depending on what comes next. For the first time in 2 months, I feel something other than grief. It's small, barely more than a flicker, but it's there. Curiosity, purpose, the faint pull of a thread that, when followed, might lead somewhere I haven't been before. Snow catches in my eyelashes. I walk deeper into the park, past dog walkers and early morning joggers, past empty playgrounds and frozen fountains. When I find a bench that's been cleared of snow, I sit, pull out the journal, and read Austin's words again. "Did you think I wouldn't keep my promise?" "No, my love. I never doubted you, not once in 55 years. Follow the instructions on the next pages. I will. And don't tell our children." This is the part that frightens me. Not the mystery, not the instructions, not even the supernatural strangeness of receiving a message from my dead husband. It's this. Austin knew something. Something about Brandon and Lauren, or their spouses, or our family. Something important enough that he needed to exclude them from whatever gift he's left me. My phone vibrates in my pocket, a physical buzz I can feel even though the sound is off. I pull it out, see 17 missed calls, 12 text messages, all from the children. The most recent text is from Brandon. "Mom, we're worried. Where are you? This isn't like you. But maybe it is like me. Maybe this is exactly like the woman I used to be, before I became just mom and grandma and Austin's wife. Before I let my own art slide into hobby territory while I supported his career. Before I became so careful, so accommodating, so afraid of disrupting the delicate balance of family peace. I type a single message to both children. Something came up. Go ahead without me. Merry Christmas. Love you." Then I turn the phone off completely, drop it back in my purse, and stand up from the bench. Tomorrow, I'll read the next entry in Austin's journal. Tomorrow, I'll follow whatever instructions he left me. But today, Christmas, our 55th Christmas, the one he promised would be special. Today, I'm going to walk through this snowy park and remember what it felt like to be young and in love and full of possibility. Today, I'm going to trust that Austin knew what he was doing. Even in death, he's never let me down before. The apartment is exactly as I left it this morning. Silent, orderly, suffocating in its emptiness. I shed my coat and boots in the entryway, leaving small pools of melted snow on the hardwood Austin refinished himself 30 years ago. The Christmas tree we never bought sits invisible in the corner where it should be. The stockings we always hung remain packed away in storage. This is our first Christmas without traditions, and the absence of them feels like another kind of death. I make tea because it's something to do with my hands, something ordinary to anchor me while my mind spins. The journal sits on the kitchen table where I placed it, innocent as any book, deadly as a loaded gun. Through the window, I can see into the apartment across the street. A family gathers around their table. Children, parents, grandparents. Someone is carving a turkey. Someone else is laughing. It looks like a Norman Rockwell painting, all warm light and togetherness. We used to be that family, didn't we? My phone, which I finally turned back on, immediately erupted with notifications. I've ignored them all except for a single text to each child. "I'm fine. Home now. Need some quiet time. Talk tomorrow." Lauren responded instantly. "Mom, you scared us. This isn't healthy." Brandon took longer. "If you need space, that's fine. But you can't just disappear like that. We're your family." Ariana, Brandon's wife, sent her own message. "Callie, I hope you're taking care of yourself. We're here if you need anything practical. Groceries, bills, anything." Why does everything Ariana says sound like she's already planning my estate sale? Anthony, Lauren's husband, was the only one who didn't text, which is somehow more unsettling than if he had. The tea grows cold while I stare at the journal. December 26th, tomorrow's date, but it's nearly midnight now. Technically, it's almost tomorrow. Does that count? Would Austin mind if I read ahead by a few hours? God, I'm negotiating with a dead man's instructions like they're sacred commandments. I open the journal. The entry for December 26th is longer than yesterday's, filling 2 full pages in Austin's tight, careful script. My hands shake as I begin to read. "My darling Callie, if you're reading this, you followed the first instruction. You kept this between us. Good. I need you to trust me now more than ever, even though what I'm about to tell you will hurt. I'm dying. You know this already. The cancer, the prognosis, all of it. But what you don't know is that I spent my last year preparing for your future, not mine. I had things to take care of, to set right, to protect. A year ago, I sold my collection to a group of German investors. Not all of it, just the major pieces, the ones that mattered. 23 paintings in total. The sale brought in $18.5 million. I know you're shocked. I never told you because I needed to act quickly, and I didn't want you stopping me out of sentimentality. Those paintings were mine to sell, and I sold them for us, for you. But Callie, my love, your work, your paintings, they're worth the same, maybe more. The investors appraised your entire collection and offered a similar amount. They're waiting for your decision, but you need to know something before you make it. Our family is not what you think it is. The words blur. I have to stop, press my palms against my eyes, breathe through the sudden vertigo. $18.5 million. Austin sold his paintings. Our paintings. The ones I watched him create over decades. The ones that hung in our home and in galleries and in the climate-controlled storage unit in Queens for $18.5 million, and never told me. And mine are worth the same? I've always known my work had value. I've sold pieces over the years, had shows, received recognition. But in our marriage, I was always the supporting artist, the one whose career could flex around Austin's opportunities, his exhibitions, his deadlines. It seemed natural. He was more driven, more ambitious. I was content to create for myself, to teach workshops, to be the steady one while he chased greatness. But the same value? The same millions? My tea has gone stone cold. I dump it in the sink and pour whiskey instead, something Austin kept for special occasions. If this isn't a special occasion, nothing is. I return to the journal, to the words that terrify me most. Our family is not what you think it is. I hired a private investigator 6 months ago, not because I'm paranoid, but because things weren't adding up. Anthony asking too many questions about my work. Ariana suddenly interested in our estate planning. The two of them having private conversations that stopped when I entered rooms. Callie, they're having an affair. Anthony and Ariana. Your son-in-law and your daughter-in-law. They've been involved for at least 8 months, maybe longer. But it's worse than that. They found out about the sale. I don't know how. Maybe they hired someone to follow me. Maybe they have access to accounts I didn't protect well enough. And they discovered the appraisal of your work. They know what it's worth. They're planning to steal it. The investigator documented everything. They hired an art forger, a man named Anton Reeves, who specializes in mid-century American painters. The plan is to replace your originals with expert copies, piece by piece, over time. Then they'll sell the originals on the black market and split the money. After I'm gone, they were going to convince you to move into assisted living, to downsize, to let them help manage your assets. You would have never known. The forgeries are that good. I have proof, Callie. Documentation, photographs, recordings, it's all in a safe deposit box at Chase on 86th Street, box number 2847. The key is taped inside the back cover of this journal. Tomorrow, December 27th, I need you to go to the bank, get the evidence, look at it with your own eyes. Then you'll understand why I'm doing this, why I sold my work, why I've arranged everything that comes next. Don't confront them yet. Please, trust me just a little longer. I love you. I've always loved you. And I'm going to make sure you're taken care of, that you're safe, that you can live the life we always dreamed about before age and obligation and other people's expectations got in the way. Read tomorrow's entry after you've been to the bank. Yours forever, Austin. The journal falls from my hands and lands on the table with a sound like a judge's gavel. I sit perfectly still, whiskey untouched, mind racing and blank simultaneously. Anthony and Ariana. An affair. My daughter's husband and my son's wife, destroying 2 marriages for each other, planning to rob me, to put me in a home, to steal the life's work I poured into canvas after canvas in the studio Austin built for me 40 years ago. No, it can't be. I reach for my phone, pull up the family photo from Thanksgiving. Just 6 weeks ago, a lifetime ago when Austin was still alive but fading fast. We're all there. Me supporting Austin, who looks thin and gray but is smiling. Brandon with his arm around Ariana, who's looking at the camera with that serene expression she always wears. Lauren leaning into Anthony, his hand possessive on her shoulder. And Anthony and Ariana, I zoom in on the photo, they're on opposite ends of the frame, not even looking at each other. But that proves nothing. That's how affairs work, isn't it? Hidden in plain sight, camouflaged by normalcy. I think back over the past months. Anthony's sudden interest in coming to the house, helping out by going through Austin's studio, asking if I'd had his work appraised, Ariana volunteering to organize our financial documents, suggesting we set up a trust, talking about the importance of protecting assets for the next generation. Brandon and Lauren noticed nothing. Or did they? God, do my children know? No, I can't believe that. Brandon and Lauren are good people. They love me. They wouldn't. But they've been distant lately, both of them. Busy with their own lives, their own marriages. Brandon has been traveling constantly for work. Lauren has been preoccupied with her charity boards and yoga retreats. When was the last time either of them asked about my art, my life, anything beyond whether I was managing okay after Austin's death? The whiskey burns going down. I pour another. The logical thing to do is call them right now. Confront this. Demand explanations. But Austin said not to. Austin said to wait, to get the evidence, to trust him. And there's something else. Something beneath the shock and betrayal. Something that feels almost like relief. Because for months now, I've felt crazy. Like I was imagining things, being paranoid, letting grief warp my perception. The way Ariana looks at our paintings a little too long. The way Anthony takes photos of the studio, for memories. The hushed conversations that stop when I appear. The way both of them have been pushing me to simplify my life, to make decisions quickly, to let them help. I thought I was losing my mind, but I wasn't. Austin saw it too. Austin investigated and found proof, which means I'm not crazy. I'm not paranoid. I'm not a grief-stricken old woman imagining conspiracies. I'm a woman whose family is trying to rob her. The apartment feels different now. Not empty, but full of eyes, full of threats, full of deception. How many times have Anthony and Ariana been here, studying my work, planning which pieces to forge first? How many conversations have I walked in on that I stupidly, innocently interpreted as normal family concern? I check the back cover of the journal. There, just as Austin promised, a small key is taped to the leather. A safe deposit box key. Tomorrow I'll go to the bank. I'll look at Austin's evidence. I'll see proof of what my family has planned for me. And then I'll read the next entry in this journal, and I'll follow whatever instructions my husband has left me, because Austin, brilliant, careful, loving Austin, has clearly planned something. Outside, the family in the opposite apartment is still celebrating, still laughing, still together in all the ways that matter. I watch them for a long time, finishing my whiskey, holding the journal like a talisman. Tomorrow, I think. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tonight, I'm still the woman who doesn't know. The mother who believes her children are good. The mother-in-law who thinks her children's spouses care about her. Tonight, I can still pretend the family in the window across the street is just like mine. But tomorrow I become someone else. Someone who knows the truth. I don't sleep. How could I? The journal sits on my nightstand like a bomb with a visible timer, ticking down to the moment I'll have to face what Austin discovered. At 4 a.m., I give up pretending and make coffee. The apartment is dark except for the kitchen light, and in the window's reflection, I see a stranger, a 75-year-old woman with wild gray hair and hollow eyes, wearing her dead husband's pajama shirt because it still smells faintly of him. When did I become this person? This ghost haunting her own life? The bank opens at 9 a.m. I have 5 hours to wait. I spend them in Austin's studio. The room is exactly as he left it. Brushes in jars, half-squeezed paint tubes, that last unfinished landscape on the easel. I've barely been able to enter this space since he died. It hurt too much, like visiting a shrine to everything I've lost. But now I'm looking at it differently. Not as a memorial, but as a crime scene. My paintings hang on every wall, a rotating gallery of my life's work. Austin always insisted on displaying my pieces here. Said it inspired him. Said my use of color taught him things his formal training never could. I'd been flattered, touched by his support. Now I wonder, was he protecting them? Keeping them visible? Documented? Harder to secretly replace? I move through the room, studying each canvas with new eyes. A series of urban landscapes from the 1980s, all bold geometrics and primary colors. The abstract florals from my experimental period in the 90s. My recent work, quieter pieces, more contemplative, studies in light and shadow that reflected my aging perspective on beauty. Which ones did they plan to steal first? The valuable early work, probably. The pieces that established my name, that appear in retrospectives and art history texts. I take photos of everything with my phone, documenting each painting's location, its condition, its signature. If they've already made substitutions, I need evidence of what was here before. The thought makes me sick. How long have I been looking at forgeries of my own work without knowing? At 8:30 a.m., I dress carefully. Wool slacks, a cashmere sweater, my good coat. Not the grieving widow in yesterday's wrinkled clothes, but the woman I used to be. The artist, the professional, someone who commands respect. The Chase branch on 86th Street is a 10-minute walk. I arrive at 8:55, wait in the cold until they unlock the doors. Inside, it's all marble and glass and careful neutrality. A young woman greets me with a practiced smile. "I need to access my safe deposit box," I say, holding up the key. "Of course. I'll need to see your ID and have you sign in." She leads me through the process with efficient politeness, checking my identification against their records. Box 2847, that's correct. It's registered to Austin and Callie Fletcher. Was registered. He's dead now, but I don't correct her. She takes me into the vault, a room that feels like a mausoleum for secrets. Small metal doors line every wall, numbered and locked, each one containing somebody's private truth. She uses her key and mine together, slides out the long metal box, and carries it to a private viewing room. "Take your time," she says, closing the door. I'm alone with Austin's evidence. The box is heavy, stuffed with manila folders, each one labeled in Austin's meticulous handwriting. I lift out the first folder. The tab reads, "Financial Documents." Inside are bank statements, transaction records, emails. I see the sale of Austin's paintings documented, wire transfers from Kunsthaus Bauer, a German investment firm specializing in mid-century American art. The amounts are staggering. $650,000 for a single landscape, $1.2 million for his Blue Period triptych, $2.8 million for the Cathedral series. The total matches what he wrote in the journal, $18.5 million. Then I see the appraisal of my work, prepared by the same firm. They've assessed 43 of my paintings, each one photographed and evaluated. The estimates make my hands shake. Summer in Manhattan, 1983, $580,000, $720,000 Garden Series No. 4, 1991. $450,000, $600,000 Shadowfall, 2019. $890,000, $1.1 million on, 43 paintings, totaling somewhere between $17.2 and $19.4 million. My life's work, my voice, my vision, worth almost as much as Austin's. I always knew my art had value, but seeing it quantified like this, seeing that I created wealth equal to his, it's overwhelming. All those years I thought of myself as the supporting player, the lesser talent, when actually, I was his equal all along. The next folder is labeled Surveillance. Inside are photos. Dozens of them, dated and time-stamped. They tell a story I don't want to read. October 15th. Anthony and Ariana in a restaurant in Connecticut, a place far from where either of them lives. They're holding hands across the table. In another shot, they're kissing in the parking lot. October 22nd. Ariana entering a brownstone in Brooklyn. The investigators' notes say Anthony owns this property, listed it as investment real estate on his tax returns. More photos show them entering together, leaving 3 hours later. November 3rd. Anthony and Ariana meeting with a man in a coffee shop. The investigator has identified him as Anton Reeves, the forger Austin mentioned. There are close-ups of documents on the table. I can't read them, but one photo clearly shows my painting, Summer in Manhattan, displayed on someone's phone screen. November 18th. Ariana at our apartment, taken through the studio window with a telephoto lens. She's photographing my paintings with her phone, one after another, clearly documenting details, brushstrokes, signature placement, aging patterns. My stomach turns. I remember that day. Ariana had come over to check on me, brought me lunch, insisted on spending the afternoon. She'd asked to see the studio, said she wanted to Really look at my work for once, not just glance at it during holidays. I'd been touched. Grateful for her attention, she'd been cataloging which pieces to steal. The final photo in this folder is dated December 8th, 2 weeks ago. Anthony and Ariana in a car, parked outside a nursing home in Westchester. The investigator's notes read, "Subjects toured facility for 90 minutes, requested information packet about memory care units and long-term placement." They were planning my future, my incarceration. I have to stand, pace the small room, breathe through the rage building in my chest. The third folder contains recordings, audio files loaded onto a flash drive, each one labeled with dates and locations. There's also a small portable speaker in the box. I plug in the flash drive and press play on the first file. Ariana's voice fills the room. "I'm just saying, we need to move faster. She's sharper than you think. If she starts asking questions about the appraisals," Anthony interrupts. "She won't. She barely pays attention to the business side. Austin handled all that. Austin's dying. Once he's gone, we have maybe 6 months before she starts going through everything. So we speed up the timeline. Anton can have the first batch ready by January. We'll swap them out during the estate organization. She'll think we're helping." A pause. Then Ariana again, her voice colder. "And if she notices? She's 75 years old and just lost her husband. Who's going to believe her over us? We'll say she's confused, grieving, not thinking clearly. Brandon and Lauren already think she's fragile." I stop the recording. I can't breathe. They were going to gaslight me, make me doubt my own perceptions, my own memory, paint me as a demented old woman who couldn't tell real from fake. And my children, Brandon and Lauren, they already think I'm fragile. Did Anthony and Ariana plant those ideas? Or did my children genuinely view me as weak, incompetent, unable to manage my own life? There are more recordings, more evidence, but I can't listen anymore. The last folder is labeled Instructions. Inside is a single letter in Austin's handwriting on his personal stationery. "My dearest Callie, if you're reading this, you've seen what I saw. You know what they planned for you. I'm so sorry, my love. I'm sorry I had to leave you alone to face this. I'm sorry our family isn't what we thought it was. I'm sorry that the people who should protect you are the ones trying to destroy you. But you're not defenseless. You're not the fragile widow they think you are. You're Callie Fletcher, one of the finest painters of your generation, and you're tougher than anyone gives you credit for. Here's what I've arranged. The money from my art sale is in an account only you can access. The bank information is at the bottom of this letter. It's yours. Completely. Use it however you want. I've also purchased something for you. For us, really, though I won't be there to enjoy it. The deed and keys are in this box. Open the blue envelope. The German investors are still waiting for your decision about your collection. You don't have to sell if you don't want to. But if you do, that's another $18 million that Anthony and Ariana will never touch. As for them, that's your choice. You can confront them, expose them, prosecute them, or you can do what I hope you'll do, disappear. Take your money, take your art, and start over somewhere they can't touch you. You've spent 50 years being what everyone needed you to be. Wife, mother, grandmother, the supportive one, the accommodating one. Now be yourself, just yourself. The next journal entry will explain everything else. But first, open the blue envelope and see what I bought for us. I love you forever, Austin. My hands shake so badly I can barely open the blue envelope. Inside is a deed, property deed, an address on Central Park West, apartment 14C. There are also keys, photos of an apartment, high ceilings, enormous windows, hardwood floors that gleam in the natural light. The photos show empty rooms, waiting to be filled, waiting to become home. One photo shows the view. Central Park spread out below, a sea of winter trees and white snow, the city stretching beyond it. I stare at the images, trying to comprehend what Austin has done. He bought us an apartment, a place to start over, to create, to live the life we dreamed about when we were young artists who didn't yet know that life would bend us into shapes we never chose. The price is listed on the deed, $4.2 million paid in full. He spent his art money on this, on giving me a future, a sanctuary, a place where I could be safe from the people who plan to rob me and warehouse me in a memory care facility. I sit in that small room in the bank vault, surrounded by evidence of betrayal and love, holding the deed to a life I didn't know I could have. And for the first time since Austin died, I feel something besides grief. I feel rage. Clean, clarifying rage at what they planned to do to me, at how they underestimated me, at how they thought I was just a convenient old woman whose assets they could plunder, whose autonomy they could strip away, whose voice they could silence. I gather all the folders, the flash drive, the photographs. I take the deed and the keys. I put everything in my bag except for one item, a single photograph of Anthony and Ariana kissing in the parking lot. This one I put in my coat pocket. Then I walk out of the bank, into the cold December morning, and I make a decision. I'm not going to confront them. Not yet. I'm going to let them think they're winning. I'm going to be the fragile, confused widow they expect. And while they're congratulating themselves on how easy I am to manipulate, I'm going to disappear into the life Austin built for me. By the time they realize what's happened, I'll be gone. And they'll have nothing. I return to the apartment and do something I never thought I'd do. I become an actress in my own life. The journal entry for December 27th is brief. Now you know the truth. Tomorrow, go see the apartment. Walk through what will be your new home. Then come back and read the next entry. And Callie, start moving your most valuable pieces to storage. Quietly. 1 or 2 at a time. I've arranged everything. The details are in tomorrow's entry. So that's what I do. But first, I have to play my part. I call Lauren at noon. My voice is shaky when I answer, but not from grief. From fury I have to disguise as fragility. Mom? Lauren sounds relieved. Are you okay? Yesterday really scared us. I'm sorry, sweetheart. It was so hard being at church without your father. I needed to walk, to think. I should have told you where I was going. We understand. We just worry about you alone in that big apartment. A pause. Anthony and I were thinking, maybe in the new year, we could help you look at some smaller places, something more manageable, something you can more easily ransack, you mean. That's thoughtful, I say carefully. Maybe. Let me get through the holidays first. Of course. No pressure. Are you eating? Do you need anything? I'm fine. Really? We talk for a few more minutes. Surface pleasantries that feel like broken glass in my mouth. When I hang up, I immediately call Brandon. Mom, Jesus, you can't just disappear like that. His tone is irritated, not concerned. When did my son start speaking to me like I'm a child? I know. I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking clearly. That's what worries us. Ariana and I think maybe you should talk to someone. A therapist or... I'm handling it, Brandon. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're isolating yourself, ignoring family on Christmas, wandering around the city. I went to church and took a walk. That's hardly wandering. You know what I mean. A sigh. Look, we love you. We want to help, but you have to let us in. Let you in so you can inventory what you're planning to steal, you mean. I will. I lie. After the new year, we'll sit down and talk about everything. The apartment, the estate, all of it. This seems to satisfy him. We end the call with false warmth on both sides. I feel sick. These are my children. I gave birth to them, raised them, sacrificed for them, and now I'm lying to them because their spouses are criminals, and I don't know if they're complicit or just blind. The thought that Brandon and Lauren might know, might be part of this, is almost worse than the affair and the theft. Almost. But I can't think about that now. Now I have to move. December 28th arrives with fresh snow and brittle cold. I dress in layers, take the subway to 86th Street, and walk to the address on the deed, a pre-war building on Central Park West with an elegant limestone facade and a doorman who nods politely as I approach. I'm Callie Fletcher, I say, showing him the keys. I believe my husband arranged... Mrs. Fletcher, yes. He's older, maybe 60, with kind eyes. Mr. Fletcher met with our building manager several times. We've been expecting you. I'm Robert. Please come in. The lobby is all marble and brass. beautifully maintained but not ostentatious. A small Christmas tree still stands in the corner, decorated with white lights and gold ornaments. It's tasteful, elegant, exactly the kind of building Austin and I used to dream about when we were young and poor and thought success meant living near the park. Robert escorts me to the elevator, presses 14. Mr. Fletcher wanted you to know that everything has been prepared. The utilities are active, the apartment has been cleaned, and there's a welcome package from the building management in the kitchen. The elevator rises smoothly. My heart rises with it. Apartment 14C is at the end of a quiet hallway. My hands shake as I unlock the door. The apartment is empty of furniture but full of light. Enormous windows face the park, flooding the space with winter sun. The living room is vast, with crown molding and original hardwood floors that glow honey-colored in the natural light. The kitchen is updated but respectful of the building's character. White subway tile, marble counters, professional appliances. There are 2 bedrooms, both generous. The master has an ensuite bathroom with a clawfoot tub and a window that frames a perfect square of sky. The second bedroom is slightly smaller, but still spacious, with the same beautiful light. And then there's the third room. Austin left it for last in the photos, but I find it immediately. A corner room with windows on 2 walls, northern light pouring in. It's perfect for a studio. It's designed to be a studio. I stand in the center of the empty room and cry. He did this. My dying husband used his last months to arrange this escape for me, to give me a place where I could paint, where I could live, where I could be safe and free and myself. The welcome package Robert mentioned is on the kitchen counter. A basket with coffee, tea, gourmet crackers, and a handwritten note from the building manager welcoming me to the building. There's also a leather folder containing building information, garage access details, and contact numbers for maintenance. And tucked beneath it all, another envelope in Austin's handwriting. I open it with trembling fingers. Do you love it? I hoped you would. I wanted us to spend our last years here together. But since I won't make it, you'll have to enjoy it for both of us. This is your sanctuary, Callie. Your fortress. No one can touch you here. I've arranged for a moving and storage company to help you. They're discreet, professional, and they understand the need for confidentiality. Their information is at the bottom of this letter. Call them whenever you're ready. Start moving your paintings. The most valuable ones first, the ones they'll target. Move them here or to secure storage. The company can arrange either. Do it slowly enough that no one notices, but quickly enough to stay ahead of them. I've also hired a security consultant to install a system here. Top-of-the-line cameras, alarms, the works. No one gets in unless you want them to. You're probably wondering about money. Don't. The account I set up for you has $14.3 million, what remained after purchasing the apartment. That's yours. Liquid, accessible, completely separate from any joint accounts. You could live comfortably for the rest of your life and never sell a single painting. But Callie, my love, I hope you do sell them. Not because you need the money, but because you deserve to see your work valued, recognized, celebrated for what it is. You've hidden in my shadow for too long. The Germans are genuine buyers. I've vetted them thoroughly. If you decide to sell, you'll be dealing with legitimate art historians who respect your work. Tomorrow's entry will tell you about the final piece of this plan. But for now, just be here. Imagine your life in this space. Imagine being free. Yours always, Austin. I walk through the apartment again, slower this time, touching walls, testing light switches, opening closets. I imagine my furniture here, my books, my life. I imagine waking up to this view every morning, having coffee while watching the park change with the seasons. I imagine the studio filled with my canvases, my paints, my brushes. I imagine creating here, not as someone's wife or mother, but as myself. Just myself. The fantasy is so vivid it hurts. I take photos of every room, documenting this space that's mine, that no one can take from me. Then I call the moving company Austin Arranged. A woman answers, professional and warm. Fletcher account, yes. We've been expecting your call, Mrs. Fletcher. What can we do for you? I need to move some artwork, paintings. They're valuable and I need absolute discretion. Of course. We specialize in fine art transport. Would you like to schedule an assessment? We arrange for them to come to my current apartment next week, posing as estate appraisers. They'll document everything, photograph what needs to be moved, and create a plan for transporting my collection without anyone noticing. After the call, I sit on the floor of my empty studio and let myself feel everything. Grief and rage and hope and terror all mixed together until I can't separate one emotion from another. Austin gave me an escape route. Now I have to be brave enough to take it. I return to my old apartment as the winter sun sets, painting the city in shades of amber and rose. The apartment feels different now. Not like home, but like a stage set I'm performing on. Temporary. Transient. My phone rings. It's Ariana. Callie, hi. I hope I'm not bothering you. I was just thinking, would you like company this week? I could come stay with you for a few days, help organize things, keep you company? She wants to inventory the paintings. She wants to see what's here so they can plan their theft. That's so sweet of you, I say, my voice sugary with false gratitude. But I'm actually doing okay. I need some time to just be with my thoughts, you know? Of course. But if you change your mind, I'm here. And Callie, Brandon and I were talking. After the holidays, we'd love to help you sort through Austin's studio. It must be overwhelming to face alone. It is, I admit. This at least is true. But I'm not ready yet. Take your time. Just know we're here for you. A pause. Have you thought any more about the storage situation? Austin's work, your work? It's a lot to keep track of. We could help you get it properly cataloged, maybe even appraised for insurance purposes. Appraised so you know exactly what you're stealing. Let me think about it, I say. After we hang up, I walk into Austin's studio and look at my paintings with new understanding. These aren't just art. They're targets, evidence, ammunition in a war I didn't know I was fighting. I choose two pieces, smaller works that are nonetheless valuable. A 1985 cityscape worth perhaps $400,000 according to the German appraisal, and a 1998 abstract that might fetch $300,000. Together, $750,000 worth of art. I wrap them carefully in blankets, tape them securely, and hide them in my bedroom closet behind winter coats. Tomorrow, I'll take them to the new apartment. 1 or 2 at a time, like Austin instructed. Slowly bleeding my collection out of this apartment before Anthony and Ariana can execute their plan. The journal sits on my nightstand. Tomorrow's entry is waiting. But tonight, I need to sit with what I know, what I've learned, what I'm planning. My children's spouses are lovers and thieves. My children are either complicit or dangerously oblivious. My husband is dead but somehow still protecting me. And I'm about to disappear into a new life, leaving behind 50 years of accumulated history. I should feel terrified. Instead, I feel powerful. For the first time in years, maybe decades, I'm making choices based on what I want, what I need, what I deserve. Not what's convenient for everyone else. Not what keeps the peace. Not what makes me the accommodating mother, the supportive wife, the easy target. I'm becoming someone new. Someone Austin always knew I could be. Someone who doesn't negotiate with thieves, even when they're family. I pour myself wine, toast Austin's photo on the mantel, and whisper into the empty apartment. Thank you, my love. I won't waste this gift. Outside, the city glitters with a million lights. Somewhere out there, Anthony and Ariana are probably together, planning my future, congratulating themselves on how easily they'll rob me. They have no idea what's coming. Neither do I, really. But I'm ready to find out. December 29th. The journal entry is longer than the others, and it takes me 2 readings to fully absorb what Austin is asking me to do. Callie, by now you've seen the apartment. You've started thinking about logistics, about moving, about extracting yourself from the trap they've set. But here's what you need to understand. You can't just move. You need to vanish. If you simply relocate to the new apartment, they'll follow. They'll find ways to insert themselves into your life, to maintain access to your work, to continue their plan. Anthony and Ariana are patient. They've been planning this for months. They'll adapt. So you need to make a clean break. Complete. Final. Here's what I suggest. Stage a crisis. Make them think you're declining, confused, unable to cope. Let them believe their gaslighting worked, that you're the fragile widow they need you to be. Then, when they least expect it, execute your exit. I've arranged for a lawyer, Miriam Lewis. Her information is below. She's trustworthy and she knows everything. She'll help you transfer assets, close accounts, tie up loose ends legally. She's also prepared a letter to Brandon and Lauren that explains, from me, some of what I discovered. Not all of it. That's your choice to share or not. But enough that they'll understand why you had to leave. You don't owe them an explanation beyond that. You don't owe them your presence, your art, or your suffering. The moving company can execute a complete relocation in one day. Everything out, nothing left behind except furniture if you want. They've done this before for people in difficult situations. I wish I could be there to help you through this. But you're stronger than you know, Callie. You've always been the strong one. I just took up so much space you couldn't always see it. Be ruthless. Be cold if you have to be. And be free. The final entry is for after you've moved. After you've claimed your new life. I love you, Austin. I sit with this for a long time. Austin is asking me to burn bridges with my children, or at least to blow up the bridges their spouses have already rigged with explosives. He's asking me to prioritize my survival over their comfort. The old Callie, the accommodating one, the peacekeeper, would never do this. But the old Callie didn't know her family was planning to rob her and warehouse her in a nursing home. I call Miriam Lewis. She answers on the second ring, her voice crisp and professional. Mrs. Fletcher, I've been waiting for your call. Austin told me you'd reach out after the holidays. I'm so sorry for your loss. He was a remarkable man. Did he tell you everything? He told me enough, and he provided documentation. I've reviewed the evidence. What they're planning is theft, fraud, and elder exploitation. It's criminal and it's prosecutable. I don't want to prosecute. I just want to disappear. A pause. That's what Austin thought you'd say. All right, let me explain what I can do for you. We talk for over an hour. Miriam is efficient, thorough, and completely unfazed by the complexity of my situation. She's handled cases like this before. Families imploding over money, children and their spouses circling aging parents like vultures. She outlines the plan. I'll transfer my liquid assets to new accounts they can't access. I'll update my will, removing Anthony and Ariana as any kind of beneficiaries and limiting Brandon and Lauren's inheritance to specific, controlled trusts. I'll grant power of attorney to Miriam, not to my children. I'll disappear from this apartment, this life, and resurface only on my terms. What about the paintings? I ask. The ones still here? Move them as quickly as you safely can. Based on the surveillance evidence Austin gathered, they're planning to make their first substitution in mid-January. You have a 2-week window. And if they notice things missing, let them. By the time they realize what's happening, you'll be gone, and there will be nothing they can do about it. After the call, I make tea and think about what comes next. I need to stage my decline, make them believe I'm falling apart. It shouldn't be hard. I'm a grieving widow. Everyone expects me to be unstable. The performance begins that afternoon. I call Brandon and I let my voice break. I can't find your father's insurance papers. I've looked everywhere. I don't know how to handle this. Mom, calm down. Where did you look? Everywhere. The filing cabinet. His desk. I'm so confused. There's so much I don't understand. Okay. Ariana and I will come over tomorrow. We'll help you organize everything. Perfect. The next day, they arrive with Ariana carrying a leather portfolio and wearing an expression of practiced concern. Brandon looks uncomfortable, the way he always does when emotions are involved. Mom, you look exhausted, Ariana says, embracing me. Are you sleeping? Not really. Also true. We sit at the kitchen table and Ariana spreads out documents, some from Austin's files, some she's brought. Let's start with the basics. Insurance, bank accounts, property titles. I play confused, asking repetitive questions, losing track of what we've already discussed. I watch Ariana's eyes light up with each display of incompetence. She thinks she's winning. At one point, Brandon goes to use the bathroom and Ariana leans close. Callie, I don't want to alarm you, but some of these documents suggest Austin made some Unusual financial decisions before he died. Large transactions, asset sales. Do you know anything about that? He handled all the money. I just painted. That's what I thought. She pats my hand. Don't worry. We'll figure it out together. We'll make sure you're taken care of. By robbing me blind, you mean? They stay for 3 hours, during which Ariana photographs several pages of financial documents for our records, and Brandon asks pointed questions about Austin's storage unit and whether I've had his work appraised. After they leave, I immediately photograph everything they touched, document what they looked at, add it to the evidence file. Then I call the moving company. I need to accelerate the timeline. Can you do a full move on January 3rd? That's quite soon, Mrs. Fletcher. I know. But I need to be out before January 15th. Completely out. We can make it work, but it will require a larger crew, and the cost. Money isn't an issue. I need this done quickly and quietly. We arrange everything. They'll come at 6 a.m. on January 3rd with a full crew. Pack everything that's mine, my clothes, my personal items, my paintings, my supplies, and transport it all to the Central Park West apartment. By evening, I'll be gone. The days between now and then become a careful choreography of deception. I continue to play the confused widow. I call Lauren crying about a broken dishwasher. It's not broken. I forget appointments and miss phone calls. I let Anthony come over to help me organize the studio, and I watch him photograph my paintings while pretending to catalog them for insurance. I smile and nod and thank them for their help while systematically dismantling any access they have to my life. With Miriam's help, I transfer $14.3 million to new accounts. I close the joint accounts I shared with Austin. I remove Brandon and Lauren as beneficiaries on my life insurance, replacing them with arts charities. I update my will, leaving my children a modest inheritance, but nothing like what they'd get if I died with my full estate intact. Most importantly, I contact the German investors. The conversation with Kunsthaus Bauer is revelatory. Heidi Bauer herself takes the call, her English accented but perfect. Mrs. Fletcher, we've been hoping to hear from you. Your husband's work has already generated significant interest in our Munich gallery. We believe your collection would be equally celebrated. I need to understand the process, and I need discretion. Of course, we would handle everything: authentication, transportation, insurance, exhibition, sale. We typically do a retrospective first, build anticipation, establish provenance, then private sales to serious collectors. The timeline is usually 18 to 24 months from start to finish. And security? My work is currently vulnerable. We can arrange immediate secure transport if you wish. We have climate-controlled storage facilities in New York. Your pieces would be photographed, authenticated, and kept absolutely safe until you're ready to proceed. I think about my paintings, 43 pieces representing 50 years of work, sitting in my apartment where Anthony and Ariana can access them, replace them, steal them. Yes, I say. I want them moved as soon as possible. We can have a team there within 48 hours. Make it January 3rd. I'll be moving that day anyway. Take everything. New Year's Eve arrives. Brandon and Lauren invite me to Lauren's house for a small celebration, but I decline, citing exhaustion. The truth is, I can't bear to be around them. Can't bear to see my children's faces and wonder what they know, what they've guessed, what they've chosen to ignore. Instead, I spend the evening in Austin's studio, sitting among my paintings, saying goodbye. These pieces are my history. Each one marks a moment in time, a feeling, a vision, a truth I needed to express. The early work, bold and confident, from when I was young and fearless. The middle period, more contemplative, painted while raising children and building a life. The recent work, quieter but deeper, painted with the wisdom of age and loss. Tomorrow, they'll all be gone. Safe, but gone. I think about the forgeries Anton Reeves was creating. I wonder if they're good, if I would have noticed. I wonder how long Anthony and Ariana planned to get away with it. Years, probably. Maybe forever, if I'd been properly gaslit into thinking my own perceptions were unreliable. The thought makes me cold with rage. At midnight, I'm alone in the apartment. watching fireworks explode over Central Park through the window. The city celebrates while I prepare for war. I don't sleep. Instead, I spend the night packing personal items, photographs, jewelry, letters, Austin's journals and sketchbooks. The movers will handle the paintings and furniture, but these intimate things need my hands. I find my wedding photo, Austin and me at 18 and 23, impossibly young, absurdly hopeful. We're laughing at something outside the frame, holding hands, our whole lives ahead of us. Did we make it? Did we have a good marriage? Yes, we did. 55 years of partnership, creativity, love. Not perfect, no marriage is, but real, honest, built on mutual respect and shared dreams. And now he's gone, but he's still protecting me, still ensuring I can live the life we dreamed about. I pack the photo carefully, wrapping it in tissue paper. At 5:30 a.m. on January 3rd, I'm awake and dressed when the doorbell rings. The moving crew is professional and eerily quiet, working with the efficiency of people who've done this many times before. The crew chief, a woman named Rosa, walks through the apartment with me, marking what goes and what stays. Everything you see with blue tape goes, I tell her. The furniture can stay. It's too big for the new place anyway. But the paintings, the art supplies, the personal items, all of it goes. Understood. We'll be done by 3 p.m. At 8 a.m., the Kunsthaus Bauer team arrives. 3 art handlers and a conservator who documents each painting before packing it in custom crates. They work with reverent care, treating my pieces like the valuable artifacts they are. Watching them pack my life's work is surreal. Each painting disappears into foam and bubble wrap and wooden crates, labeled and photographed and cataloged. These will be in our New York facility by this evening, the conservator assures me. Temperature-controlled, fully insured, complete security. You can visit them any time. By 2 p.m., the apartment looks gutted. The furniture remains: couch, chairs, bed, table. But all the life has been drained out. No paintings on the walls, no books on the shelves, no art supplies in the studio. Nothing that makes this place mine. I walk through the empty rooms one last time, saying goodbye to 50 years of memories. This is where I raised my children, built my career, loved my husband, became myself. And this is where I almost let myself be destroyed by the people I trusted most. At 3:15 p.m., I lock the door for the last time and hand the keys to Rosa. Leave them with the building super. I won't need them anymore. I take a taxi to Central Park West, to apartment 14C, to my new life. The movers have already been there, unpacking and arranging according to the floor plan I provided. My belongings look right in this space, as if they'd always been meant to be here. I stand at the windows, looking out at the park, and I feel Austin's presence so strongly it takes my breath away. We made it, I think. Not the way we planned, but we made it. Tomorrow I'll read the final journal entry. Tomorrow I'll decide what to tell my children, if anything. But tonight, I'm free. The first morning in the new apartment, I wake to light I don't recognize. Brighter, cleaner, angled differently through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, panic seizes me. Where am I? Then I remember. I'm home. My new home. My sanctuary. I make coffee in the pristine kitchen and carry it to the window. Central Park spreads below me. A winter landscape of bare trees and white snow. Joggers leaving trails like embroidery on a canvas. The city hums with life I'm no longer required to participate in. My phone has been silent since yesterday. I turned off the ringer before the move, unable to bear the thought of Brandon or Lauren calling while I was dismantling the only home they've ever known me to live in. Now I turn it back on. 17 missed calls. 23 text messages. I scroll through them chronologically, watching my children's concern morph into confusion, then alarm. Brandon, 7 p.m. Yesterday. Mom, tried calling. Everything okay? Lauren, 8:30 p.m. Mom, are you there? Call me back, please. Ariana, 9:15 p.m. Callie, Brandon, and I are worried. We're going to stop by tomorrow to check on you. And then, this morning at 6:45 a.m., from Brandon. What the fuck, Mom? Where is everything? Where are you? So they went to the apartment. They saw the empty walls, the missing paintings, the stripped-down life. Good. I drink my coffee and read the final journal entry. Callie, if you're reading this, you did it. You're out. You're safe. Now comes the hardest part. Deciding what kind of relationship, if any, you want with our children going forward. I've thought about this constantly during my final months. Brandon and Lauren are good people, Callie. I believe that. But they're also flawed, as we all are. They've been distracted, self-absorbed, willing to let their spouses make decisions without scrutiny. They've failed you in ways that matter. Whether they knew about the affair and the theft, I honestly can't say. The investigator found no evidence of their direct involvement, but their willingness to see you as fragile, as incompetent, as someone whose life needed their management, that they're guilty of. I've prepared a letter for each of them. They're with Miriam Lewis. She'll deliver them when you're ready or not at all. Your choice. In the letters, I explain what I discovered about Anthony and Ariana. I provide enough evidence that they can verify the truth if they want to. I don't accuse Brandon and Lauren of complicity, but I do tell them that they failed to protect you, failed to see you as the capable, intelligent woman you are. I also tell them that you've made a choice to prioritize your safety and dignity, and that they need to respect that choice. But Callie, here's what I want you to know. You don't owe them reconciliation. You don't owe them access. You don't owe them anything beyond what you choose to give. If they want a relationship with you now, they need to earn it. On your terms. With genuine change, not just apologies. And if they can't do that, then you have every right to build a life without them. You've given 50 years to being a mother. Maybe now it's time to just be Callie Fletcher, artist, woman, survivor. The Germans are waiting to hear from you about the retrospective. Heidi Bauer is a good person. Trust her. Your work deserves to be seen, celebrated, valued for what it is. And you deserve to live whatever life you choose, surrounded by people who see you clearly and love you anyway. I wish I could see what you'll become in this next chapter, but I know it will be extraordinary. All my love, always and forever, Austin. I close the journal and hold it against my chest, feeling the weight of Austin's love even in his absence. The phone rings. Brandon. I let it go to voicemail. Then Lauren. Voicemail. Ariana. Voicemail. Anthony. I turn the phone off entirely. I spend the day unpacking, transforming the empty apartment into a home. My books fill the shelves. My clothes fill the closets. In the studio, I unpack my supplies, brushes, paints, canvases, the tools of my trade, and arrange them with the care of a surgeon organizing instruments. The light in this room is perfect. Northern exposure, consistent, ideal for color work. Austin knew what he was doing when he chose this apartment. By evening, I'm exhausted, but the apartment feels lived in, mine. I order Thai food and eat it while watching the park lights blink on as darkness falls. That's when someone buzzes from downstairs. I don't answer. They buzz again. And again. Finally, the intercom crackles. Mrs. Fletcher, it's Robert, the doorman. I have your son and daughter here. They say it's urgent. Of course they came. Of course they found me. The building address was probably on some document they photographed, or maybe they hired someone to track me. Money leaves trails. Tell them I'm not available, I say into the intercom. Mom! Lauren's voice, tinny through the speaker. Mom, please. We just want to know you're okay. We're worried sick. I close my eyes. Take a breath. Tell them, I say carefully, that I'm fine, that I need space, and that they should contact Miriam Lewis. I'll text them her information. Mom, this is crazy. Brandon now, anger making his voice sharp. You can't just disappear. You can't take everything and vanish without explanation. Tell them, I repeat to Robert, to contact Miriam Lewis. I disconnect the intercom and lean against the wall, shaking. This is the moment, the point of no return. I can go downstairs, let them in, explain everything, and risk being drawn back into the web of manipulation and control. Or I can hold firm, maintain my boundaries, and force them to reckon with what's happened on my terms. I choose myself. I text both children. I'm safe. I'm fine. For information about why I've moved and what happens next, contact my attorney, Miriam Lewis. I include her number. Then I call Miriam. They found me. They're downstairs. Send them the letters. Are you sure? Once they read what Austin wrote, I'm sure. They need to know the truth. All of it. All right. I'll messenger the letters tonight. They should receive them within the hour. After the call, I pour wine and sit by the window, watching the park. Somewhere 14 floors below, my children are probably still arguing with Robert, demanding access, threatening legal action maybe. But Robert is a professional. He's dealt with family drama before. And I'm a resident with rights. They can't force their way in. An hour later, my phone explodes with messages. Lauren, is this true? Is any of this actually true? Brandon, we need to talk. Now. This is insane. Ariana, Callie, please, there's been a terrible misunderstanding. Anthony, I don't know what lies Austin told you, but none of this is real. I read them all. I don't respond to any of them. Instead, I text Brandon and Lauren. Everything in those letters is documented and verified. If you want to see the evidence, Miriam can arrange that. If you want to talk to me, you'll do it on my terms, on my timeline, not before. Lauren responds immediately. Mom, please. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know about any of it. This stops me. The raw pain in those words feels real. Brandon, we need to meet. Face to face. You owe us that. Do I? Do I owe them anything? I think about this for a long time. They're my children. I gave birth to them, raised them, loved them. But they're also adults who chose spouses without really knowing them, who were willing to see me as incompetent, who didn't protect me when I needed protection. I type, in 1 week, public place, just the 3 of us, no spouses. Miriam will arrange it. Lauren, thank you. Mom, I love you. I'm so sorry. Brandon, fine. But you need to hear our side. Your side of what? I want to ask. Your side of not noticing your spouses were having an affair? Your side of thinking I was too fragile to handle my own life? But I don't. Instead, I turn off my phone again and finish my wine in silence. The next few days pass in a strange bubble of peace and purpose. I paint. For the first time in months, maybe years, I paint with complete freedom. No one to interrupt, no one to criticize, no one to ask what I'm working on or when it will be done. I paint Austin. Not a realistic portrait, but an abstract representation of what he meant to me. Bold strokes in blues and grays, light breaking through darkness, the suggestion of hands reaching, protecting, releasing. I paint my rage, harsh reds and blacks, jagged lines, the visual representation of betrayal. I paint my freedom, soft golds and whites, open spaces, the feeling of possibility. The studio fills with canvases. I work from dawn until I'm exhausted, then sleep deeply and wake to do it again. This is what I needed. This immersion, this focus, this return to myself. On the 5th day, Heidi Bauer calls. Mrs. Fletcher, I hope I'm not disturbing you. I wanted to let you know that our team has completed the authentication and documentation of your collection. Everything is secure, and whenever you're ready, we can begin planning the retrospective. Tell me about it. The retrospective. We're thinking of a comprehensive show. Callie Fletcher. 5 decades. We'd include pieces from each major period of your work. Show your evolution as an artist. We'd host it in Munich first, then potentially travel it. New York, London, perhaps Tokyo. Build momentum before the sales begin. And you think there's a market for my work? Mrs. Fletcher, I think there's a hunger for it. Your husband's sale created significant interest in mid-century American artists. But more than that, your work deserves recognition independent of his. You have a distinct voice, a unique perspective. The art world needs to hear it. I look at my new paintings, still wet on their canvases. Can I include new work? Pieces I'm creating now? Absolutely. In fact, that would be ideal. Show that you're still actively creating, still evolving. When could you have new pieces ready? 3 months, maybe 4. Perfect. That gives us time to plan properly. I'll be in New York next month. Perhaps we could meet. Discuss the details? After the call, I stand in my studio and feel something I haven't felt in years. Professional validation. Not as Austin's wife, not as someone's mother, but as Callie Fletcher, artist. It's intoxicating. The meeting with Brandon and Lauren is scheduled for the 7th day. Miriam arranges it at a quiet restaurant in Midtown, somewhere public enough to prevent scenes but private enough for difficult conversations. I arrive first, dressed carefully. Not the grieving widow, not the confused old woman, but the person I actually am. Tailored pants, a cashmere sweater, my mother's pearls. I look like someone who has her life together, because for the first time in months, I do. Brandon and Lauren arrive together, both looking exhausted. Brandon has lost weight. Lauren's eyes are red-rimmed. They sit across from me, and for a long moment, no one speaks. "Mom," Lauren finally says, her voice breaking. "I didn't know. You have to believe me. I didn't know about any of it." "Neither did I," Brandon adds quickly. "The affair? The plan to steal your work? We had no idea." I study their faces, looking for truth or lies, and I see only pain. My children are hurting. Part of me wants to comfort them, to make it better, to be the mother who fixes things. But I can't. Not yet. "Whether you knew or not," I say carefully, "you were willing to see me as incompetent. You talked about me needing help, needing to downsize, needing management. You let your spouses convince you I wasn't capable. We were worried," Brandon protests. "Dad died. You were grieving. You seemed lost. I was grieving. I'm still grieving. But I was never incompetent. I was never unable to handle my own life." Lauren's tears spill over. "You're right. We failed you. We let them. We let them shape how we saw you. I'm so sorry, Mom." "What happened?" I ask. "After you read the letters?" Brandon's jaw tightens. "I confronted Ariana. She denied everything at first, said Dad was paranoid, said the investigator was wrong. Then I showed her the photographs, the recordings. She finally admitted to the affair, claimed they fell in love, that it was complicated, that we wouldn't understand. I've filed for divorce," he adds flatly. "She's already moved out." Lauren nods. "Anthony tried a different approach. Said yes, he made mistakes, but he never intended to actually steal anything. Said it was all fantasy, planning they never would have gone through with." She laughs bitterly, as if hiring a forger is just idle daydreaming. "I left him. I'm staying with a friend while I figure things out. I feel sympathy for them. My children, whose marriages have imploded, whose partners betrayed them. But I also feel something harder. They're adults who made choices, who trusted the wrong people, who didn't see what was happening until it was documented in black and white." "What do you want from me?" I ask quietly. Lauren looks stricken. "What do we want?" "Mom, we want our mother back. We want to fix this, to make it right." "You want forgiveness," I say. "It's not a question. We want a chance," Brandon says, "to prove we're not them, that we're your children, and we love you, and we'll do better." I sip my water, taking my time. "Here's what I need you to understand. I'm not the same person I was before your father died. I'm not the accommodating mother who puts everyone else first. I'm not the woman who lets herself be managed or directed or underestimated." "We never wanted to manage you," Lauren says. "But you were willing to. When your spouses suggested it, you didn't push back. You agreed I needed help, needed supervision, needed someone to make decisions for me." Brandon has the grace to look ashamed. "You're right. We should have seen it differently. Should have trusted you more. Should have known me better," I add. Silence falls. The restaurant hums with other people's conversations, other families navigating their own complicated dynamics. "I've been offered a retrospective," I tell them. "A major show in Munich, possibly traveling to other cities. My work is being recognized, valued, celebrated. I'm painting again. Really painting. Not just dabbling when I have time between taking care of everyone else." Lauren's face transforms. "Mom, that's incredible. You deserve that." "I know," I say simply. "And that's the difference now. I know I deserve it. I don't need anyone's permission or approval or management." "What do we need to do?" Brandon asks. To be part of your life again? I've thought about this question for days. What do I need from them? Time, I say finally. I need time to trust you again. And I need you to see me clearly, not as a widow who needs help, not as an aging mother who's declining, but as Callie Fletcher, artist, autonomous woman, person in her own right. We can do that, Lauren says eagerly. Can you? I meet her eyes. Because it means stepping back. It means not offering to help unless I ask. It means accepting that I've built a new life that doesn't include you at its center. It means understanding that your relationships with your spouses damaged my relationship with you, even if you didn't intend it. Brandon flinches. That's harsh. It's honest, I correct. And I'm done being anything but honest. We talk for another hour. They want to know about the new apartment. I tell them nothing specific. They want to know about the sale of Austin's work. I give them only basic facts. They want to know if I'll ever trust them fully again. I don't know, I admit. Maybe. If you earn it. But my priority now is me, my work, my life. You're welcome in it, but only if you can accept it on my terms. When we part, Lauren hugs me tightly. I love you, Mom. I'm going to prove I can be better. Brandon is more formal, a handshake. I'm glad you're okay. Really. And I'm sorry. For all of it. I watch them leave. These two people I gave birth to, raised, loved with everything in me. I still love them, but I also love myself now, in a way I haven't in years. That night, back in my apartment, I finished the painting of Austin. It's not pretty, not comforting, not any of the things a memorial painting should be. It's raw and honest and true, a representation of love and loss and the fierce protection he offered even in death. I sign it with my full name, Callie Fletcher. Not Callie Fletcher, Austin's wife, or Callie Fletcher, Brandon and Lauren's mother. Just Callie Fletcher. 3 months later, I'm in Munich for the opening of my retrospective. The gallery is stunning. Soaring ceilings, perfect lighting, my paintings displayed with reverence and space. Callie Fletcher, 5 decades. The banner reads, and my name is larger than I ever imagined it could be. Heidi introduces me to collectors, critics, journalists. They ask about my work, my process, my vision. No one asks about Austin. No one treats me as an appendage or a curiosity. They treat me as an artist. The opening night is packed. Paintings sell. Critics use words like luminous and fearless and essential. I stand in the center of the gallery, surrounded by my life's work, and I feel Austin's presence. We made it, I think. Not the way we planned, but we made it. Brandon and Lauren didn't come to the opening. I didn't invite them, not yet. But Lauren sent flowers, a simple arrangement with a card that read, "Proud of you, Mom. Always was, even when I didn't show it. It's something. Maybe eventually it will be enough." That night, alone in my hotel room, I open a bottle of champagne and toast the woman in the mirror. She's 75, silver-haired, wearing expensive clothes and a confidence that took 3/4 of a century to earn. To you, Callie Fletcher, I say. To surviving, to creating, to refusing to be anyone's victim. The woman in the mirror smiles back. And in my purse, Austin's journal rests. All its pages read, all its instructions followed, all its love absorbed and actualized. He kept his promise. He gave me a surprise that changed everything. He gave me myself back, and I'm never letting anyone take her away again. Now tell me, what would you have done if you were in my place? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out the video on your screen right now. I'm sure it will surprise you.